Hey, this is Avery Sunshine, and I am in the basement with JaVonne and Terez, shining.
Hey, this is Gina Breedlove, and you're listening to In the Basement with JaVonne and Terez.
What's up? It's your girl Monifa, and you're tuned in to Brunch in the Basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Hey, it's your girl Allison Williams, and you're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Hey, this is Lenny Williams, and you're listening to Brunch in the Basement with JaVonne and Terez, playing my kind of music.
Still in the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Terez on the microphone. Music politics are just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Let's see who we got today.
Come on, everybody's a friend in my head. I already know everybody.
Whatever it is, it's gonna be good.
One day I'll tell you about me and Shaka Khan, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but she doesn't know anything about it. But anyway. No, she doesn't. She wasn't even there actually. But anyway, but she did mention none other than Shaka Khan as one of her.
Why you gotta say? Wait a minute. Why you gotta say Shaka? She did mention no other than Shaka Khan. I'm like, where does your voice go? What happens? What's happening? Even the mere mention of her name. Silence. Oh gosh.
Would you believe I'm blushing?
Yes. Hard. You're speechless blushing. That's the thing. Speechless blushing.
Rezzy, I can't help it.
There's a Shaka rehab, you know.
If there's a cure for this, I don't want it. I don't want it.
Our senses, though, Jay. She's got our ears and
I'm gonna send y'all some perfume. I'll definitely get an address. I'll send y'all out tomorrow.
You can send me some cologne, because I mean, you know, yeah. Just in case I should meet Shaka Khan, I want to smell really, you know, nice.
Oh God.
Okie dokie, babe. Whatever you say.
I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Shaka Hanukkah. All right, thank you. Let's carry on. I'm sorry.
JaVonne, there's a pill you're going to be able to take for that.
I promise not to tell them which way you went, but they're coming for you.
The time, so
and we thank you for that.
Thank you. Yes,
thank you. This part, that little piece, I'm just gonna keep and play it all the time for myself. But no, I'm just teasing.
And I think it's time, Terez, to do a little rapid fire with Mr. Richard Pryor Jr.
I think so. So yeah. Don't worry, we won't hurt you.
Rezzy Pooh.
Hey.
How you doing?
I tell you, those intros really always make me chuckle.
Aren't they fun? Aren't they fun?
Hilarious.
I think I do intend this weekend because I finally was able to fix the Mac. Return of the Mac. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've been going through drama with this thing, but we're on it today, and God willing, I'll be able to edit some more, because there are tons and tons of moments. A lot of them are hysterical, and some of them are straight up dime droppers. And like, we've had amazing guests, and I would encourage anyone who's listening or watching who may not be that familiar with the show to go back and look at some of the archive shows, some of the rapid fires. We have a page on Facebook that's only rapid fire. I intend to edit up some other things in there, but there's just so many jewels. This is such a great show. Not that I'm patting, our backs, but it's a damn good show. So I would also ask that everybody tell somebody, and it wouldn't even make any sense to go forward without saying good morning to Pop. Hi, Pop.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning, Nathan.
Hey, Nathan. Nathan dropped a serious dime on me this morning when he sent me something saying that as you know, that he works on the election board in Philadelphia. And I think it was Elon Musk was saying that Dominion machines in Philly flip votes from Trump to Harris, and all this kind of crap. And he said that with a sense of certainty that he has, as a member of the election board in Philadelphia, that they don't even use Dominion machines. So also, the views expressed here on Live in the Basement are seen most often in personal opinion, do not represent the opinions of everything here at WJBR Internet Radio. And absolutely, our opinions are our own.
Yes.
And but I think it's everyone's opinion that this show rocks.
16 days until election. Now,
that's just over 2 weeks, babe.
Yes. Now that's till the November election.
November 5th. Yep.
November 5th, right? But you can vote early if you'd like. In most states, and those early dates are running around. I know that October 21st and October 23rd for the tri-state area till November 3rd are the early voting days. So in case you don't want to stand outside on the day of election, you may opt to go early, like a lot of people are, and get your vote counted. Okay?
Yes. Please vote. Please vote. Please vote. Shout out to Georgia.
Shout out to Georgia.
It seems as though the numbers of early votes and early voters absolutely just surpassed anything from history. And as we know, most early voters are blue voters. And right now, it's just amazing. So many people coming out, and we need to do it. And yes, Ronnie, good morning.
Good morning, Ron.
Love you, hubby. And yes, we are doing it here in Georgia. Make it happen. Make it blue, baby. Make it
with it blue.
And Nathan says that's correct, JaVonne. We use ES and S, Express Vote, and have used them for 10 years. Elon is just trying to put doubt in voters' minds. As a matter of fact, allegedly, there is a company that is financed by Elon Musk that is sending out information. The company is posing as Kamala supporters, but they are putting out negative information to Kamala supporters via mail. So if you're in Philadelphia, just know if you didn't, and allegedly, if you have seen or received anything in the mail, in your email, or any of that that's negative, if it has not come from her mouth, if you have not seen her, now I'm not talking about AI generated stuff, because there's some AI generated thing that that's going around that makes her look like she's slurring and that she's drunk. That's just slowed down, and that's their thing. They say, oh, she's an alcohol. Come on. Yeah, and Nathan says, yep, I have been receiving complaints about this from all over Philly.
Mhm.
So allegedly, whoever's putting this stuff out, it is backed by Elon Musk. He's doing everything he can to he's putting tons of dollars in this this campaign against Kamala. So be smart. Understand that if they are trying this desperately, it's for a reason. There is video of Trump saying that, as a matter of fact, he was on Fox News, and some of you might have seen it if you watched that thing, saying that he wants to get rid of the Department of Education if they don't teach what he wants them to learn. So someone posed the question to him, well, what if it's in a liberal city and they say, well, we want to teach that America was built off the back of slaves, and that Columbus didn't discover America, that the indigenous people were here. He said, then I just will not give them any money. I will cut them off. And understand this, the Department of Education funds public education throughout the country. So it's not
taxpayer dollars.
Right, taxpayer dollars. So it's not just, states paying for their own public education. A lot of that money is federally funded. And you would think, well, why would the federal government divest from public education? Wouldn't you want your people to be the brightest and the smartest? And for this country, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
As cousin Jane Elliott says, this is not education. This is an indoctrination.
Exactly. And they don't, as a matter of fact, everybody I think knows that Trump is a fan of the least educated. And the least educated are fans of him.
The least educated are the most manipulated.
Yeah. How you doing, Brandon?
Hello, Brandon.
Good to see you, baby.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How was your week, Silky?
It was rough.
Rough
week. And it doesn't seem to be getting much better. But we're here. You know what I'm saying? Actually, this weekend is the 1-year anniversary of my brother's transitioning. And I think, for anybody who loses someone so close to them, they take it hard or whatever. I don't know. This is the season. 'Tis the season. And I was supposed to hook up with my family this weekend, but it looks like I won't be going. There is a contagious illness in my home.
Oh.
Yes. And I don't want to be around my mom.
Right.
And I was thinking about, it's not only because of that. I was thinking about, whether or not I wanted to go not going through my emotions, but now definitely that's a no. Ulysses said former President Donald Trump took aim at the way education is being handled in the country. He said he wanted to dismantle the Department of Education and pull funding from public schools that taught certain subjects. He discussed his plans during an interview Friday on Fox. He said, "We're going to take the Department of Education and close it. I'm going to close it." He went on to say states like California would have to be watched. And if they want to get cute, you don't send them the money.
Get cute. Get cute. Man, this, like this is the president. Oh,
Yeah.
This is if you want to get cute.
The wannabe president.
Wannabe president. The former president talking about they want to get cute. That's some street talk.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Man.
Governor Gavin Newsom responded in a post on X saying Trump is unhinged and unfit to be president if he wants to take away nearly $8 billion in school funding from California kids. Can you imagine? I mean, come on. They're already, and you have to take him at his word, because there are things that he said he wanted to do and he was trying to do while he was president, and there were people who were able to stop him. Like during a Black Lives Matter protest, peaceful protest, where he wanted to walk across the street to hold the Bible upside down and pose in front of a church. He wanted the people to move out of his way so he could go take this picture. And the people were peacefully protesting and saying, no, we're standing strong. We're going to stand right here. He said, well, can't you just shoot them in the leg or something? He said this. And General Milley and them, what they did was they gassed the people instead of shooting them. They used tear gas to clear the way.
For his photo op. Yeah, the man is
allegedly. This is all alleged.
Allegedly, the man is batshit crazy. Allegedly.
So, and I'm a little active on Twitter, and I said something about, we can't go back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some raging person was like, in all caps, your life was better during the Trump. You had more money. You know what?
Had more money from where?
But
I missed that money train. Where did this? We had more. I hear this from the younger people talking about.
I'm going to tell you why if people had more money, this is why people had more money. People had more money because they couldn't go spend it anywhere. Everything was shut the fuck down. Where were you going? You couldn't even go clothes shop. You couldn't buy new sneakers. It wasn't nothing going on until and then Nancy Pelosi and the House of Representatives during that time gave everybody a stimulus package that Donald Trump hurried up and took credit for. So people think he gave them a stimmy and they think he's going to give them some more. I don't understand it. And then if you recall, unemployment benefits were extended during that time because he freaking crashed the country. So the government had to give money to people who didn't have money. So everybody got these it was money to help them through the Trump pandemic is what happened. That's exactly what it was. And that's my opinion. And for those of us who were able to continue to work, I worked from home in this very basement, feeling like I was enclosed. And you go to the supermarket and there was nothing there. And you had to walk down, follow the arrows down the line and follow the arrows up the line and have your mask on. And I remember during that time, there were children, like children would be out with their parents. And you know how you walking down the street and you see a little child and they look up at you and you smile?
You see it.
That teaches socialization. That has to have a psychological impact. When you look at people as a child, that strangers, and you smile, or you look and you like, what you looking at, kid? So children learn there's some strangers that are nice and there's some strangers that are not nice.
There's some strangers that are strange.
And there's some strangers that are strange because you have to pull kids away from people that are strange because they're going to stare you down like, what the fuck is up with you? Right? Like, I've never seen green and purple eyes and hair and what, okay, so people are different, right? So, but that whole socialization thing was shut down. That's my issue. One of my issues there.
Right.
But life was not better. There were no concerts. People were out of work. I couldn't go see a play. I was locked down. I felt scared to go visit my mother in case I had COVID because I was still working and around people from time to time. And my mom and my grandma at that time, grandma would spray you down at the door with Lysol. It was like you could take your shoes off and come in and turn around. You'd be like, grandma, whatever. She was like, shh. But anyway, I'm just saying, no, life was not better. Life was strange.
Life was
Unsettling. Let's look at what else Pop was saying. Or first, Nathan said former Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis and former Joint Chiefs Chairman General Mark Milley both described Trump as the most dangerous man in U.S. history. And yes, there was a little cha-ching going on, but it had nothing to do with how great he was. The economy actually failed, and Biden lifted it back up. Sorry, but that's just the truth. He put us, we're actually doing the economy, the U.S. economy is doing better than ever before.
And it still has a ways to go, though.
And still has a ways to go. And we're still waiting for that trickle down. I get it. But it's doing better. Gas prices are going down. And one of the things that Kamala is promising to do, and here's the reason why I believe her. Okay, so she's promising. And Pop says, I'm always smiling at strangers, still laughing out loud, but take note, not in a stranger danger type way. And what a beautiful smile you have, Pop.
Yes.
So she's talking about going after retailers that do this price gouging thing.
Yeah.
And the reason why I believe her is because when she was the Attorney General, come on, everybody's when she was the Attorney General, I got 5 things going. Sorry. In California, she did go after price gougers. She did go after predatory lenders. She did go after predatory lenders in housing and landlords that were slumlords that were overcharging. And she won, and she got people money, big money in California. She did that. She did that.
Nice.
And that is her thing. You're not going to take advantage of the most vulnerable.
Nice.
And I if someone has been consistently that
before election time,
before the light was shining, then that's who they are. That speaks to the core.
I don't like, I love a friendly competition, you know what I mean, of competitive nature, where you have two people that have mutual respect for each other, or teams that have mutual respect for each other, getting together to see who has the best day, right? Because that's just the art of competition. What I don't like is the ridiculousness that has allowed itself into our politics, like the slander and the name calling, and what I particularly don't care for, that that saddens me in a great extent, is the amount of rhetoric and the amount of just straight disrespect. Like you cannot like somebody, right? You could not like somebody's you could piggyback off something somebody said and expound on that and not like it. But when you resort to straight name calling and lying, that's a whole different situation, you know. And I've been watching, like, as we get down to the thick of things with 16 days left before the actual election, you know, it's getting worse. You know what I mean? Like, I have to really like put my adult monitor on social media and stuff, because I'm starting to see a whole lot of ridiculousness, and it hurts worse. And I'm gonna say it out loud. It hurts worse when it comes from our brothers, you know, at her specifically.
Yeah.
You know, I just think that, you know, you just don't get to do that. You know, you can not support and not bash at the same time. You know, the stuff I've been watching as of late, you know, because I try to watch a little bit of everybody's, you know, stuff, and I'm starting to do something that I hadn't done before, which is very, very smart, is tame my own timeline. You know, because there's some stuff I just don't want to see that people are consistently posting. And if I find that you're one of those people, I just kind of remove myself or restrict my access to whatever you got going on, because I don't want to see it rolling down my timeline. So, you know, on a regular basis, you know, it's just vile to me that you have to go to that extent. You know, and shout out to the men who don't do that and protect and respect women. You know, I'm just gonna say women.
Absolutely. I think, you know what, I agree with you, Terez, in terms of especially Black men. It hurts in a particular way when Black men are adversarial towards her or demeaning towards her. It's nefarious, because they know that Trump is not for them. They know that.
But, you know, like I told you, I think misogyny and racism run hand in hand.
Right.
And I think just a lot of people, not just Black men, but a lot of men, just do not like the idea of being led by a woman, and how the hypocrisy in that, when you all had mothers, you know, or a caretaker that was female or something. I'm not saying everybody before people, but, you know, just, you know, like, and men of color particularly, like, you've had women that were leaders in your households, you know, in different ways than the men did, you know, but you had women in your life that were strong. I don't get it. You know, I just don't get it. You know, I was watching one podcast, international podcast, and I'll leave his name out of it. And he had a panelist that consists of Candace Owens, the podcaster himself, Lord Jamar from Brand Nubians, and oh my goodness, I forget the other brother's name, but they had a full out blowout on the show because he had to stop Lord Jamar from calling Vice President Kamala Harris the B word. Wow. And I just thought, how vile, like, and he was like, come on, bruh. That like, what could she have possibly done? That did you just say that? Like, you don't have to agree with the, you know, let's hold up. You know, in the middle of stuff, he stopped him and said, come on, bro. What? Are you kidding me?
But that is that vile hatred. I think I might have shared with you a while ago that when I was working as a clerk, this is like in the 80s, you know, I was working in the dialysis unit, like a satellite place, and I was the clerical person, although they were only charging me $5.05 an hour, right? But that was a little bit above minimum wage at the time, which I think was $3.45 or something like that.
Damn.
And then they had only given me, when it came time for my raise, because I was doing the social work, calling Medicare and, you know, doing the billing, seeing what the patients needed. And they even had me, and this is at the beginning, or really the heights of the AIDS pandemic, they had me taking the blood samples spinning them down. You have to open them up and put them in the centrifuge, spin them down, and freezing the serums. You know what I'm saying? Separating the serums and spinning them down and doing all this freeze. I mean, this is I was doing this for $5 an hour, and you're billing and you're social working, right? $5 and some change an hour, whatever. Still mad about that. But anyway, this brother came in. And he was working in the ambulatory thing, like coming to pick patients up and taking them home and stuff like that. And he came, and I think he was trying to rap to me or something, and it was the 80s, and I was full in my stud. I was like, yo, I was like, that's not happening. Thank you, but no thank you, right? I feel you, but no. And he said, it's because of women like you that brothers like me can't get ahead.
Whoa.
Now, mind you, during that time, while I was doing that I'm Every Woman job, I was also going to school at night, full time. Okay? There was not one brother in the class. There was all Black women going to night school trying to get a degree. And you're going to put that shit on me? That's completely 100% your lazy ass shit. Or not say lazy. Let me take that word back because I don't like it for anybody. But that's your unmotivated self, your undetermined self. So don't do that. And when I hear brothers today talking about Kamala, I think about him and that misogynistic thing. And I saw somebody on TikTok, because I'm all up in it these days watching TikToks, but he said that he believes that white women, and this is allegedly, and this was his opinion, that some white women ignore the misogyny so that they can enjoy the racism.
Ooh.
True or not, I don't know, but I thought it was deep.
That saddens my soul.
Yeah, well, they're voting for Trump, so they must be ignoring the misogyny. Either that or they can't discern it. And they don't care about the racism because it's blatant.
And it ain't them. So.
And it ain't them. And here's my thing also. I don't have any children in public school.
Neither.
But
I have grandchildren.
Right. But see, I don't have any. Well, I do have a niece, a great niece that's in public school, but I just thought of it right now, this moment. I've forgotten that, it does affect my bloodline, my family, but whether it did or did not, I still think it's a terrible idea for the country.
And you still pay taxes into the public school system to which you have no children.
Exactly. And yes, I do. Now, anyway, I want to get through Pop's stuff. His comments. So Harris promises to cover long-term care under Medicare on October 8th. Harris promised to expand Medicare to cover at-home care for seniors and those with disabilities. She also pledged to provide vision and hearing benefits for seniors, also under Medicare. This is big. People, if you're young, you may not get this. If you don't have an elderly parent, then you don't get this. You may not understand because you haven't been affected by it yet. But let me tell you, there's a thing that if you work all your life and your medical benefits, your insurance company does not cover in-home, if you're not paying extra for that, then when you're old enough for Medicare and you or ill enough or however that works and you are on Medicare won't pay for somebody to come in your home. So if you become an elderly person who needs care, then your family will take you in and they themselves will have to care for you, or you get Medicaid, right? But in order to qualify for Medicaid, you have to, if you have savings or if your income is more than their allowance, which your income is going to be more than their allowance, period. Okay? It's going to be more than their allowance, right? You have to either turn over that money back to the government, spend it down. It's called a spend down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The reason I know is because I have an elderly parent and I'm dealing with this right now.
You have,
Okay.
Can't have any assets whatsoever.
No assets.
Only thing you can have is burial money.
Right. And they even wanted to know how much insurance she had. They calculate everything in order for her to get Medicaid. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, you know what? That's okay. Keep the Medicaid. We'll do this for now, you know, because this is she worked all her life for her pension. So now she has to give her pension, part of her pension, back to the government just so she can get government aid. And she paid taxes all her life. She worked all her life.
See?
So this thing that Kamala is intending, if for nothing else, this whole Medicare to take care of your loved ones and yourself when you become too old to take care of yourself and to do everything for yourself. And if you're fortunate, it's going to happen to you.
If you're fortunate.
That you're going to live so long that you're going to need to sit down and let somebody else clean the house and get into the nooks and crannies. Right? So I'm sorry I went off on a tangent on that thing, but that is big. And she's like, no, Medicare can pay for that. You don't Medicare can do that. You don't have to do that. And she wants to lower the drug costs for all of us, as Biden already did for senior citizens, capping the cost of insulin at $35. Okay, which is big, especially in our community, because Black people are more likely to get diabetes than any other ethnic group. All right, so yeah, so I just had to go in on that.
Thank you.
The new benefits, she's like, thank you. Could you move on, please? Thank you.
No. I just, because sometimes people need it in other languages,
Exactly. Because when she says it, I don't think it hits home to people the way it ought to.
And so they put you in there and you have to forego things to take care of grandma,
Exactly.
Because
exactly.
And the nursing home won't do it because they.
Even to go into a nursing home, you have to spend down. For Medicaid to pay for it. You gotta have nothing.
And whatever you do have goes straight to them, and they give you what's called a stipend, which is in most cases like $25 off that check.
Right. Of your money. The new benefits would be funded by her plan to expand Medicare prescription drug price negotiations. She promised to create what she calls an opportunity economy. She said, whether you live in a rural area, small town, or big city, and as president, she will bring together labor and workers and small business owners and entrepreneurs and American companies to create jobs, to grow our economy, and to lower the cost of everyday needs like healthcare and housing and groceries. That makes sense.
Listen.
What is Trump saying?
Nothing I want to hear, Nothing I want to hear.
She said that she will provide access to capital for small business owners and entrepreneurs and founders. And we will end America's housing shortage and protect Social Security and Medicare. I am 2 years away from that. Okay. And I've earned it. It needs to be present when I get there. Harris says her first 100 days would include a number of consumer first policies.
Okay.
Vice President Harris and Governor Walz will work with businesses, entrepreneurs, workers, and all stakeholders to drive an economy that creates opportunity and ensures stability and security for everyone. And Nathan, you are not alone when he says, I do not understand Black people who support Trump. They're like chickens voting for KFC. I can't.
Right.
You know, look, I know someone, love her, but she's all in for Trump. That's her right. All I could do is put out the information that I have. And I can vote.
Is she a New Yorker?
Yep.
What? She over 45?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
So she's lived through a lot of his
Yep.
antics. Come on,
Look,
son.
And you know what? I can't judge anybody else's understanding or discernment. All I can do is, put out the information, and that's it.
Just hold sometimes it's just real simple. And and I need to see it sometimes, see Spot run, right? When you are interviewing a candidate for a job, right? You take their what? Resume. Look at the resume. And then you take other people's resumes and you compare them to narrow down who you think on paper is the most competent before you do the interview, right? Or maybe you just have a thing where you do group interviews and everybody gets an opportunity. But if you just consider the fact that this man never had anything that qualified him from the first time that he ran, we let him through that crack, right? So here he is again. Nothing has changed. In fact, he's doubling down on some BS that he put out there before, and he's coming to finish us off. That's how a lot of us see it. And you're holding, and on top of that, he's doubled down with 34. He's not even doubled down. He's 34 times down and being convicted, right? Yeah. A convicted felon, right? So now he's coming back 2.0 of the BS. And you hold, I don't even know if you can hold a resume. Does he have a resume? I don't even know what he has, right?
I don't know. Next
to hers, and you still go by what comes out of his mouth that he says he's gonna do. Like, what is it that appeals? I'm like, inquiring minds want to know, like, what is it that appeals to you?
The interesting thing is that most people will say, well, he's a businessman. So the people who created the show, what's that show? Not The Biggest Loser, because every time I think of him, I think of The Biggest Loser. Yeah, but it's The Apprentice, right? Mm-hmm. The people who came up with that show, and I want to give a shout out to George is who's saying hi to us, and please say hi to Rochelle Fleming of The First Choice. I know
legend,
the legendary, and hi to Sugar watching us on Instagram, Big Sugar. But I think they have come out to apologize to the country because they made it appear as if he was so successful on the show. And in reality, Trump Tower was old, and on the inside it was falling apart and everything, but they came up with a concept of a show and they used him, for the show, and they bigged him up and they made him look great. Actually, they were the ones that were in charge of firing people and hiring people, and they made a show, but they embellished, and so they came out recently. I think as recent as this week, they were on television saying that they apologize for what they did, is that they made people really believe that he was a successful businessman, which he was not.
Well, that's just for people not wanting to do their own homework. And it's not like you have to dig deep for that information, right? And what you don't have to dig deep for came out in some of the debates where, she basically said, like, really? And again, like, I'm a stand on business when I say that any New Yorker that's over 45 years of age and lives and was a part of the fabric in New York, and you didn't have to be on every disco scene. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just pay attention. Trump has been around for a long time doing the same BS, allegedly. I'll just, So at the end of the day, he's never done, him and Giuliani both, which I'm actually happy to say that I'm ecstatic he was disbarred, because some of the stuff they were doing separately and together were egregious for New York.
Yeah.
And they were media whores like you would not believe, allegedly,
Mm-hmm.
So it just disgusts me. And one of the major blows that New York took was around 9/11. And I'll never forget those photo ops, that took place because you needed to make it look more political than I believe it was, allegedly. So it just at the time when the people need you the most, your brain is not with the people, but Pookie and them was holding down the hood, getting us through those broken traffic lights and the dust all over the place. And, like, once again, the resilience showed, but, you didn't, like, Trump wasn't around.
Exactly. Trump wasn't around, and Giuliani magically became America's mayor only because he did what any mayor would have to do. He put on a mask and went down there to check out the thing and get a photo op.
That's it.
And then he had the nerve to try to extend his being the mayor, at that time. I remember. I'm a New Yorker. I was there. He didn't do anything. As a matter of fact, prior to 9/11, he was the worst mayor ever. He did some bogus thing with the union, with the biggest union in New York, DC 37. He did some bogus thing where all of the heads of each delegation were incarcerated except for 371, Charles Inslee, because Charles Inslee did not fall for the okie doke. It was a contract where the members ended up getting 0% increase the first year, 0 the second, and 0 the third, and then maybe like the fourth year you got like a 3% raise or some crap like that. It was like a 0003. I don't remember. If you were a New Yorker and you were working for the city during that time, which I was, however, I was not in Charles Inslee's local.
Okay.
I was in 1549. I remember this. I don't remember much of anything, but this I remember. Because during a union meeting, they said that I had to vote for Giuliani. And if I didn't, they would know who I voted for. And it was almost like intimidation by my own union. Yeah. And that was when I decided, because you had to have a bachelor's, you had to have a bachelor's to be in local 371. And I said, I'm gonna educate myself out of 1549. And I went back to night school full time and hurried up and completed my courses to get my bachelor's degree, just so I could become a member of local 371. Shout out to all the unions across the fucking nation. If it wasn't for y'all, we would be working 6-7 day work weeks. Okay. It's because of the unions.
And before he left New York, he deliberately, I believe, tanked the budget for public housing, only to have the private developers bail them out. So what he did was, right before he left office, is he sold a lot of the public housing to private developers.
Yeah.
So you're thinking you're still paying, and of course this was something that, was not known, hugely across the city, because it would have been a large number of, in my opinion, a large number of people picketing for the housing, because technically, as we know, a lot of the public housing portfolio exists in very, very lucrative areas of the city and near transportation and near, great waterways. And he sold a lot of it out. He sold it right to the developers. So you come and you see like endless number scaffolding up on buildings. That's because he struck a deal with them before he left and sold them out, and then allowed them over the years to displace a lot of families.
Yeah. So let me get back to what Pop was saying. Reducing prescription drug costs, put a cap on insulin costs at $35 and out-of-pocket expenses to $2,000 for all Americans. Allow Medicare to negotiate the price of prescription drugs in order to cut costs for common prescriptions by 40% to 80%. Harris would also help speed up the process for making more affordable prescription drugs available for Medicare recipients. She wants to crack down on big pharma companies that raise costs for consumers by blocking competition.
That's a big one.
Building housing, which you were just talking about, housing, and lowering home ownership costs, provide on average $25,000 in down payment support for first-time home buyers that would enable 4 million first-time home buyers, 100%, so that they could receive assistance over 4 years. Start a $40 billion innovation fund for local governments to create local solutions to building housing. How could you not want that? Cutting taxes for families with children, restore the expanded child tax credit that was created with the American Rescue Plan. It provides up to $3,600 per child tax credit for eligible middle income and low income families. Enact a $6,000 child tax credit for middle income and low income families with newborns for the first year of a child's life. Lowering rental costs, expanding an existing tax incentive for building affordable rental housing. Calling on Congress to pass the Stop Predatory Investing Act, which would restrict major investors from receiving tax benefits for acquiring large numbers of single-family rental properties. Calling on Congress to pass the Preventing the Algorithmic Facilitation of Rental Housing Cartels Act, which would prohibit corporate landlords from colluding to raise rents using price fixing algorithms. That would be amazing, because we can all as landlords get together and say, look, if we all collectively get together and charge these monumental amounts of rent, i.e. New York,
we'll create the average.
And so, they'll have to come to us, to all of us, and pay these high exorbitant amounts of rent. Building housing and lowering home ownership costs, support construction of 3 million new housing units in the next 4 years. Create a tax incentive for home builders to construct starter homes that are sold to first-time home buyers. Start a $40 billion innovation fund for local governments to create local solutions to building housing. Make certain federal lands eligible to be repurposed for new affordable housing developments. Streamline permitting processes and reviews to create or convert new homes. Provide on average $25,000 in down payment support for first-time home buyers that would enable 4 million first-time home buyers to receive assistance over 4 years. This is some of what Kamala's opportunity economy looks like if elected. Now, Gigi, I see you in the green room, but I don't see your face. So before I pull you on, I need to see that you are ready to be on.
Have a face.
Showing nice face. And Ulysses is also warning us, listen, people, stay woke and go vote on November 5th. And remember, if you get to your polling place on election day and they tell you you're not registered, you have the right to request a provisional ballot.
Yes.
And oddly enough, Facebook removed Nathan's post that I was speaking about earlier, where Elon Musk was giving disinformation. They claimed it violated their rules. And I have been revoked on some stuff that I know is true. Like I might have posted something that I saw on the news, and I just reposted from the news station what it was.
So Zuckerberg is down with the cause too. Is that what we're saying?
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
See, a lot of these platforms, you have to be careful too, because they still control information. I'm talking about social media platforms. They control and filter information as well. So you still can't solely like Instagram ain't your newspaper. In fact, there is no newspaper anymore because all of it's information after the fact, and you really have to search for the facts within it. Even with the fact checkers, sometimes I find, there are people that are paid to go find the facts. You can't read everything. I mean, you can't believe everything that you read.
No, it's true. It's true. So I have to add Gigi to this this little video clip that we have here where we peel the onion. But before we bring her on, I just got to play this peeling the onion thing. I found it in the archives. Then we're going to bring Gigi on.
Okay.
Hey, Gigi.
Hey.
Your mic is muted. Hold on. There you go. I can't hear you.
I can't hear you still.
We still can't hear you. I know your mic is not muted. Doesn't let me see. Try it now. Cannot hear you.
Are you hooked up to the Bluetooth or something?
I don't know what's going on. Let me try you on this other thing. Let's try that. Unmute your mic. Cannot unmute that mic. I don't know why. Oh, I can't unmute you from this one because you chose to mute your mic. So you have to unmute that. Maybe that's the one. I don't know.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
there you go.
We can hear you.
Now?
Yes, we got you. We can hear you, but we can't see you.
All right, let's see. There.
There we go.
There you go. There you go. Let me see if I can remove this one. All right, Gigi. So what you got for us today?
Okay, so I was waiting on y'all, but I had somewhere I had to be, so I had to jump in the car and still head out. I said, okay, of course they're gonna call me on as soon as I start heading in the direction.
Yeah, because here's the thing, Gigi. If I don't see your camera on, then I'm assuming that you're listening and not ready to speak. So when I see your faces on, then when your camera's on, then I'm like, okay, she's ready.
Well, it was good conversation. I heard everything else. I'm about to pull over up here because I've been preparing and getting ready for. I don't know if y'all know I jump double dutch, right?
Oh,
so we have we're jumping at a church for community outreach today and for breast cancer awareness month. So we do a little bit of things. It's called over 40 plus double dutch. So women over 40 got to keep it tight and right. You know what I'm saying?
Why is it somehow I see your wife Terez doing that double dutch? I
know. Yo, for real.
I can see Mo doing that.
Mo need to get out here, honey. Get out here and come jump for real.
I'll tell her.
Yeah.
All right. I'm getting ready to pull over up here. And
that was something I wish I could have learned how to do, jump double dutch. So I could turn though.
Oh, you a turner? Oh, we need turners. We always need some good turners. Believe that.
Yep, I was a turner. I used to hate when they paired me up with a shorter person because it was always like somebody's up, somebody's overhanded. What was the expression? Overhanded, double-handed,
underhanded.
Uh-huh.
It's like I'd be turning it over my chest.
All right. So since Pop was talking about the education, I said, let me go ahead. I listen to see where we are and what the direction of the show is going, so I know what to pull up. Right.
Nice.
So I wanted to see if the comparison of what I've read in a Project 2025 is the same as in Agenda 47, right? So, yeah, because everybody keeps saying, "Oh, that's not Trump's thing. He doesn't know anything about it. That has nothing to do with him." The lies they tell. Anyway, so let's see. We have in Chapter 7 of Agenda 47, cultivated great K through 12 schools leading to great jobs and great lives for young people. Now, what kind of daggone title is that? This sounds like something he'd write, don't it? This sounds just like something he'd write. So the first one says, Republicans offer a plan to cultivate great K through 12 schools, ensure safe learning environments, free from political meddling. Okay.
Which is exactly what they're doing.
Exactly. It's like, what? And restore parental rights. We commit to an education system that empowers students, supports families, and promotes American values. Our education system must prepare students for successful lives and well-paying jobs. So on this page, they have 9 principles. Their first principle is to get great principals and great teachers. They will focus on excellence and parental rights. We will support ending teacher tenure, adopting merit pay, and allowing various publicly supported educational models. Number 2 is to give universal school choice. So they believe that families should be empowered to choose the best education, and they will expand the 529 education savings account and support homeschooling family equally. So that sounds to me like, wait, so now you're going to push kids back at home? The things that y'all were fighting against during the pandemic. Send the kids back to school, back to school, back to school. Now you're talking about homeschooling. Number 3, prepare students for jobs and careers. They will impose politicized education models and fund proven career training programs. This sounds like a drilled down version of their plan in Project 2025 and how they are picking out their executives. So now you want to start them at a younger age. That's what it sounds like to me.
It sounds like Nazi Germany.
It does. It definitely does. Number 4, safe and secure and drug-free schools. Republicans will support overhauling standards on school discipline, advocate for immediate suspension of violent students, and support hardening schools to help keep violence away from our places of learning.
You know what that means?
Yeah.
Because they look at our black and brown boys and girls and
problem.
automatically see them as threatening.
Yes, they do. Number 5, restore parental rights. Republicans will restore parental rights in education and enforce our civil rights law to stop schools from discriminating on the basis of race. We trust parents. What is that supposed to mean? So the school doesn't want to have anything pertaining to race. They trust the parents to teach their children about race. And what if that parent is racist and raising their children as racist? Then they're all right with the schools adopting that behavior from the parental guidance of those racist children. That's what I got. Number 6, knowledge and skills, not CRT and gender indoctrination. Republicans will ensure children are taught fundamentals like reading, history, science, and math, not left-wing propaganda. We will defund schools that engage in inappropriate political indoctrination of our children using federal taxpayer dollars.
So who gets to gauge that?
The same people that wrote this?
Exactly.
Number 7, promote love of country with authentic civics education. Republicans will reinstate the 1776 Commission, promote fair and patriotic civics education, and veto efforts to nationalize civics education. We will support schools that teach America's founding principles and Western civilization. Number 8, freedom to pray. Republicans will champion the First Amendment right to pray and read the Bible in school and stand up to those who violate the religious freedoms of American students.
And if they want to read from the Quran?
Oh, that's going to be a problem because it has to be leather bound. It has to be King James Version. It has to be with the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and the proclamation. So
where's the freedom in
has
that?
to be.
That's not freedom.
No, it's not. Number 9, return education to the states.
Oh, wait, and it has to have the Constitution in it, right?
And it has Constitution.
Right. So it's the Trump Bible is the only Bible.
The Trump Bible. The only Bible.
He's gonna get paid for these Bibles being available in every school across America.
Yes.
One for each child.
One for each child.
And he charges $70 each Bible. Can you imagine how much money that is?
Yeah, especially since they're being made in China.
I will forego.
They're being made in China for $2 and change a piece. I have it written down, but yeah.
I will forego my presidential salary for that.
You can't make this up.
You cannot make it up. You cannot. And the last one is return education to the states. It sounds like the same way they did Roe v. Wade, women's rights, right? The United States spends more money per pupil on education than any other country in the world. And yet we are at the bottom of every educational list in terms of results. We're going to close the Department of Education in Washington and send it back to the states where it belongs and let the states run our educational system as it should be run. Our great teachers who are so important to the future well-being of the country will be cherished and protected by the Republican Party so that they can do the job of educating our children and they do so dearly want to do. It is our goal to bring education in the United States to the highest level, one that is never attained before. So I didn't need to read Project 2025 because I thought that this pretty much summed up everything that I had already read in there. So for them to tell the United States people that this is not Trump's plan, Project 2025 is all lies because this is Agenda 47.
Which is the same thing.
Which is the same thing.
Same thing.
It's just
in
5 pages compared to 922, but it's the same thing.
And he admits that Agenda 47 is his.
Yes, he does.
But he intends to be the 47th president.
Correct.
Agenda 47.
I am fearful for our children, for us as Americans, for the LGBT community, transgenders. I'm afraid for us as African Americans, the Black and brown people. I'm worried about the fact that our brains were never even set to receive this stuff. We weren't raised in this, right? These people that are normally over in Russia and over in Korea, they have been raised into this type of living, not us. This in America is not something that we were built to understand, right?
Exactly.
So I think that's the reason why so many people fight against it and keep saying it like, oh, he's just speaking, he's just talking. It's not
because
real.
they can't imagine
that
this could happen. As a matter of fact, I saw a TikTok. I spent too much time on
I've been watching TikTok too, JaVonne.
Right?
Honey, I watch it. Yes, it's crazy to think these people out here believe.
There was a guy who was trying to explain to people that, and he's a rapper, but he has a show. I don't know his name. Look, I'm old now. I don't know the young rapper, right? But I'm gonna get back to it. Eventually.
Okay.
But anyway, he was saying that Black people have to be aware of Project 2025 and Agenda 47 because he wants to get rid of the Constitution. So there was a man on the live, you know how you can have people call in or whatever on TikTok live, and the man was saying, but how could he can't throw out the Constitution, and he was like, of course he can't. Have you been paying attention? And they've been going back and forth. He can't. Yes, he can. He can't. Yes, he can. And me and there was some other people in the chat, typing, because we weren't on air, but we were like typing, bring up the SCOTUS opinion that he has immunity.
Yes.
Bring up what he tried to do in overturning the election by having a vice president that said, no, we can't overturn this election. He was stopped from doing it. However, if it was JD Vance, he would have been able to do it. Like bring up these things. And the moderator, the guy, whoever's live it was, he never hit the point to explain to the man that this is what he's setting up to do, to be able to throw away the Constitution. This is why it's important for us to vote blue up and down the whole roll. Anybody that is trying to be elected for anything, if they are in the D column, you have to vote for them.
We have to be mindful. There is a state, and because I'm not at home, but there is a state where has a MAGA woman. I have to look it up.
Oh, that's pretending to be.
Yes, she's running as a Democrat, but she's MAGA.
Who did that before? Who tried to do that? What's her name? And then it turned Gabby, not Gabby.
So wait, how does that work? Running as a Democrat, but she's MAGA. How does that work?
Because no one ran against her for that ticket.
Right. So you can put a D or an R in front of your name, but you can have the values of whoever it is that you really have the values of up under it. It's just like the two senators that gave Biden so much trouble. Manchin, and the lady, she's another one. The blonde girl, young lady.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can't think. Kristen Cinema.
Cinema. Yes, Cinema.
So even though we had the majority, she those two kept voting against him, voting with the Republicans. So it didn't matter that it doesn't matter if you have the majority. If you have two people, look, there's only 50 senators.
Right.
So if two of them are voting against that party, that you can't do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
for the purpose of getting the vote, she's Democrat, but then she
flips it.
She flips it.
Right. She's MAGA.
And
MAGA.
Kristen Sinema, even though she came in as a Democrat, she was oftentimes found conferencing with the Republicans, like in their little circle. She'd be over there. Okay, this is what we gonna do. We ain't gonna let them. Like, excuse me. People put you in office to be a Democrat, and that doesn't mean that you have to agree with everything that Democrats want to do. You can vote however you want to vote, but you have to do it. You should do it morally, but for what's in the best interest of your constituents and what they sent you there to do, what they are asking of you, what your constituents,
and
the people that voted for you were the Democrats, and the Democrats want, I don't know, clean air. You know, that's what the Democrats want.
Clean water.
Clean water. They don't want that.
That might be why a lot of people feel as if both sides play the fence, because you have some people that are out there for their own interests. They're really not out there for the people, but that's not the majority. That's the minority. You know what I'm saying? And that means that's why it's important to know what your person on your party is truly about. Paying attention to that. It's not just going out there and just checking off because you really didn't do your due diligence. Because again, you should take the onus on that. We have to learn to take onus on the people we put in office, because we need to know who they are. Not just go in there, I need to vote, and just check it off. You should have been doing that when you first was seeing who was going to be your alderman in your town, right? Start there. Do you even know?
It's true.
You only move from there up the ladder, right? And we don't even know. And now they went from alderman to senator. You've never realized the money they've been stealing, the things they've been doing, and now damn, they probably been doing it all along.
Yep. Amen.
And a lot of us don't like being immersed in politics. Lord knows I'm so sick of it.
Isn't everything political though? Isn't everything to a certain degree political?
Yeah, I guess. But you know, like you say, Terez, sometimes you just have to turn it off.
Yeah. I do because you know I get frustrated, and
it's too much. It's too much.
It's
but from the moment that he came down that stupid escalator, I couldn't stop watching because it was ridiculous. Every single day he was doing something.
Every day
that looked like it was just crazy. It was just crazy. I think at some point Gigi and I were calling each other every day. Did you see
every day?
It was like every day. It was something ridiculous. And so I had to learn about, like we all learned it in high school, but I had to go back and look to see why he was getting away with all this stuff, and how is government supposed to work? And can't we do something? What can I do? Who can do it? What? I started really having to look at this because it was every day.
Every day. And it's every day now. Every day. That whole Fox News thing. What y'all say about that Fox News thing this week? What Kamala
I think she ate. That's what I think.
Yes, but what did you think about the manipulation and gaslighting that they tried to play on her? And then now they flipping it and making her come out to be this angry black woman.
I think she ate.
Yeah, I think she did.
I think she ate.
She did what was absolutely necessary to do. Like, no, hold on. First of all, because they'll run over and they'll act as if they didn't do it with the straightest faces ever.
Yes,
they didn't know it was coming. And then when you call them out on it, he was still trying to push whatever that was. She said, whoa, because you have to put it that way. You have to. What she did, I thought, was apropos. And it doesn't matter because at that point it was an anger situation, and it should have been because he tried it. You know, he tried it.
Oh, he tried it. He tried
My
it.
interpretation of what she did was, you ain't fitting to have me sit in your studio and you play in my face. That ain't gonna happen.
Man, that's what I said. I said, you learn real quick that if y'all didn't know she was black, I think she just proved it to you.
Yeah, she was a little black.
She proved it to you.
She was a little black. Yep. But she let them have it. And he was like, well, you've said that he's unhinged. She said, and unfit. Mm-hmm. She wasn't holding back. No. She means what she says, and she says what she means. And I also enjoyed when she had some hecklers at one of her rallies.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Said, no. I'm sorry. I think you're at the wrong rally. I think you meant to go to the one down the block. The smaller one. The smaller one down the block. And then she laughed. And then she cackled.
Yeah.
Like, she read them, wrote them, and erased them.
She's going to need to be every bit of that. Because, we already know, like, we can already say we already know that she has the intellect and the experience. So those extra little nuggets, those extra little pushbacks, those extra little don't you try, don't come for me's, all of that encompasses everything, that she can, and she gives
it. She gives it when warranted. She's not extra with it. She's very subtle with her something. I also enjoyed that little something that somebody put together with her and Whoopi Goldberg when she was on The View.
Yes, on The View.
Said, they were saying how Black women talk to each other without saying anything. So she said something, and there were no words, and Whoopi kind of looked at her, and she looked at Whoopi, and she was like, and it was like, I see you, girl, you making me so proud. I understood the whole conversation, and
without them saying anything, right?
I feel you. I'm with you. We doing this together. It was like we got this. Yep, we got. It was just dope.
It reminds me of this movie that Mo did a while ago. It's called Girl Talk. How we can have culturally a whole conversation without opening our mouths.
Yes.
And it's an art form, and it's not something, it's just, and I believe it's just a vibrational love and understanding that we have soul to soul. We don't have to open our mouth. We're like, and they went on to talk without words. And it was amazing, amazing to watch.
Yes. Like that Kiki, oh God, what's her last name? Terez. I think your friend Kiki, the young lady.
Wyatt?
No, not that Kiki. Kiki, the younger one. Oops,
Palmer.
Yes,
Palmer.
Kiki Palmer. I shouldn't have said that. But you know what I still see her as a killer in my head.
She is. We still see her as a
she's
young
still a
guy,
killer.
yeah.
But she was on some kind of game show with another sister. I can't remember who that was either. I think it was Sherry. Was it Sherry? Anyway, doesn't matter. Anyway, she was trying to give a hint. And she said, Pearl. And the other woman was like, oh God, I'm gonna get this wrong. I don't want to. And she was like, no, you're not, girl. No, you're not. Pearl. And she was like, oh, I'm gonna mess it up. She was like, you're not. Pearl. And she said, Titanic? And she was like, you got it. And that was it. Now, I don't think I would have got it, but it was a straight up girl moment.
Oh, the Pearl.
So we do have some secrets that we haven't given away yet. We can't keep a secret. Except apparently we have kept the secret as to what it means to be woke, because they have taken that word and turned it into something that it does not mean.
Does not mean.
I'm like, what are they talking about? It means Black or white people are bad, or I don't know what it. anybody could be woke.
Right.
Yes.
Anybody could be woke. And I'll tell you one thing, we need to wake the fuck up.
That's
Those
the
of you
truth.
who are not woke need to wake the fuck up. I don't care who you are, what race you are, how young you are, how old you are.
Yep.
'Cause everybody loves their rights.
Mm-hmm.
That's if you know them.
Right.
Their right, and the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution. I got rights. Well, guess what? Donnie's talking about taking your rights away.
Mm-hmm.
And he can do it. That's the scary part, because he has support. He has support in the Supreme Court. He has support in the Congress. And unless we turn everything blue, just temporarily, you don't have to agree with everything that Democrats do. I don't fucking agree with everything that they do and say. Who does? I don't even agree with everything that's done and said in my house.
What? Don't say that too loud.
I know, right? But sometimes you have to go along to get along. I like my house. I want to continue to live here.
Greater good.
You know what I'm saying? And some things are not battles worth fighting.
Right. Right. Pick and choose.
I want peace in my house.
Listen, I just know that we got 16 days away. And for those folks that want to get out there and vote early, and I'll just talk about the tri-state, you can start looking at that from October 21st to October 23rd, all the way till November 3rd to vote early. If you
North
want to
Carolina,
vote. Yes.
You know, if early voting is happening now in North Carolina and in Georgia, let's get it. These are two states I believe we can flip. You know, North Carolina, definitely, man. Y'all get out there and do the damn thing. I'm gonna assume that Gigi had to go.
Yes.
And
I hope that, you know,
back, Gigi. There you go.
Speaking of North Carolina, oh, Gigi, you want to say something? I think you have to sign off.
Okay.
Did you hear?
I don't know, but Gigi, if you can hear us, thank you.
I can hear you. I can hear you now. I know it kept cutting out.
Yeah.
All right. I gotta go and do this performance. Love y'all. Thank you. Keep doing what y'all are doing.
See you
Yes.
later.
Bye.
Say hi to
Good luck
Gabby.
to your performance.
Thank you. Peace,
All right,
everyone.
Peace. Chat later.
You know what I was also thinking too, for areas that are got hit with the hurricane and tornado matters. I pray that they are able to, you know, particularly for the places that were flooded out, like shout out to Asheville, North Carolina, that they are able to cast votes. And I know that survival may be the biggest thing on your agenda right now, you know. But I hope that, you know, a lot of them are settled into comfortable and safe spaces as they assess the wreckage of, you know, still, you know, I just want to be mindful that there are a lot of places and states that matter that got hit, you know, by the tornado and hurricane stuff, you know.
And with that in mind, if you are in one of those states and you are able to, if you can get people to the polls, if you can help, maybe if you can look to see how you can help, because I don't know that displaced people in those states, if whether or not they should be able to vote at any voting location based on what's going on in those areas. So any place within the state, they should be actually any place within the country, they should be able to vote if they are registered voters, because you may have had to flee from North Carolina to Virginia or something like that, and you should be able to still vote.
That's not discussed enough to me. Like, given the fact that we know we've had these major, you know, major catastrophes occur in the last couple of weeks, you know, what provisions have we made for those people to still be able to vote, you know, particularly, or just don't like the way that, you know, support is being spoken about, you know. You know, you can still cast your ballot and be somewhere doing it safely. Like, don't let that interrupt, you know, what you see for your future. And even, you know, coming out of this situation, you know, FEMA funding is available, despite what messages were sent out, you know, and they encourage folks to do it, you know. And also there needs to be some kind of wrangling on these insurance companies too, because they stand in spaces that and make major decisions on outcomes for people that aren't fair in a lot of cases, you know. So they need to be highlighted as well. So I'm hoping, you know, particularly as it relates to, like, 'cause I'm thinking way back to Katrina, some people lost everything and just were told, no, we're not giving you money to rebuild. We're not doing anything. You just lost, you know. And I think that's shameful for something that everybody experienced on the same level, you know. So
yeah, I'm sorry, I'm eating these nuts.
No. Pause. Okay. Roasted almonds.
Mhm.
Nice. I wanna lighten it up a little bit, and not that this is heavy, but this is necessary stuff. And again, thank you, Gigi, for popping on and reading directly from the source. So there's no alleged. You notice we don't use that line when she's speaking, because she's reading from the actual text, which is available publicly to anybody who wants it. Period. We're not even gonna discuss that, right? I'd like to lighten things up a little bit. Maybe talk about some public stuff that soothes the soul. How about that?
Oh,
You know?
please do.
Yeah. Now I have not seen it yet myself. However, I trust my sources, and I'm super excited about this film that's going to be released, live film, live from Durban, Africa. Is a concert that we have never seen before from the late great voice Whitney Houston. Now, my brothers went to see it on Thursday and came out raving about it, you know.
Really?
And not that and just the idea of it, excited me. So I'm just super psyched that they gave it 20 thumbs up, you know. They were like, yo, they came out super excited, right?
When is it released? When is it going to be released?
I believe October, I want to say 26. Pop, could you please give us the dates on the actual
Pop, you got to give us the date.
Yeah, because we need, like, it's like and I know I've said this before, but you know, it just keeps on getting better because they had so much stuff that we just didn't see, you know, from songs and just stuff, and releasing it, you know, when you can, because you know
there's a flyer.
There's a lot of politics behind releasing things, so it takes a minute, you know. But for those true gifted Whitney fans, if you want to see and hear songs that were there we go, October 23rd and October 27th, you know, do yourself a favor, you know, and go check it out, you know, because you will be leaving with a different understanding once again. And I understand she sings some songs that we weren't accustomed. So not all the blockbusters, but the true Whitney purists will get a kick out of.
Yeah, here it is. I was getting ready to ask him to put the deets.
Yeah, there we go. The concert for New South Africa, Durban, coming to cinemas worldwide on October 23rd and October 27th.
Please tell somebody, take somebody.
Yeah. And ain't nothing like hearing Nippy with Dolby attached to those chords, those gifted chords.
There's also a new live album So make sure you cop that. And once you do, come back and tell us about it. Come back and tell us about it. You know?
Got some unreleased tracks. See, anytime I hear like there's some unreleased something, you know, because, you know, a lot of times artists have a lot of music that they have not released to the public. Now, I know living with an artist here, like the stuff that you guys have never heard from this lady I live with. Like, and she just she got enough to make 3 or 4 projects, you know, and it's just like, and you have to learn a certain etiquette living with artists. Like,
it ain't ready until they're ready.
Well, you know, I tell you,
I know it's probably fire. You know, I know it's probably fire, but you know, it's that I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
The limited theatrical screenings will feature the never before released concert from Durban, South Africa, which has been beautifully remastered in 4K with remastered audio.
I cannot wait to
Listen.
get my little sticky fingers on it.
Listen, and I'd never known that one of my brothers, Mark, had never seen Nippy live, right? And it was like, what? You know, so
I don't think I have either.
Wow, really?
I don't think I have. No.
You know, it never occurred to me, you know, because you know, like I'm just grateful to have lived in a certain time frame where I had I walked the planet with some of folks that were starting out in the greats, you know, like I remember going to see Nippy at Sweetwater's when Sissy had her show there, you know, and shout out to, again, New Yorkers that know who Sweetwater's and Honeysuckles and all those supper clubs were that were very popular back then, that featured, New York like was a town that featured live music, like seriously did, you know, and every nook and cranny. So from there to Radio City, and you know, like there was nothing like being there in that moment. Just nothing like it. You know, it brings tears to my eyes. And to hear unreleased stuff, you know, like for that first album is still very near and dear, you know, because it felt like, you know, the gang won, you know what I mean? Because it's to see somebody from the very beginning before their career and their very first album is a very special space, you know.
Absolutely. So please, everybody, check out Whitney Houston, the concert for New South Africa, Durban.
Yes.
That's October 23rd. That's this week, Wednesday, and the 27th, which is Sunday. It's coming to a cinema near you. There's also a new live album, the concert for New South Africa, Durban, available November 8th, and it features unreleased tracks. Love Is. And you can pre-order it today. Look at us talking in sync. And there are limited theatrical screenings. And that will feature never before released concert from Durban, which has been beautifully remastered. So please, please, please. You know, it's interesting. You were talking about walking the earth and being able to see people at a particular point. I, over last weekend, took my mom to see one of her friends that was her best friend since they were both, I guess, 13, 8th grade, right? So, yeah. And to me, this person will always be Aunt Pat. I mean, she was always there my whole life. She's Aunt Pat. Her kids are my cousins. I mean, and, you know, her oldest son was my protector. You know, I used to work at a grocery store. He would come around and say, yo, that's my little cousin. And walk out, and everybody in the neighborhood knew, okay, that's Ty's cousin. Hi, would you like some? You know, I felt like, you know, a Bronx Tale. He was Sonny. You know, but my mother was saying that they used to go to the Apollo every weekend.
Yeah.
Every weekend. And they would dress alike. And I said, well, who did you see? And it was mostly like doo-wop groups.
Mhm.
But she also said, and she said, yeah, James Brown was the opener at once. I said, the opener? She said, yeah, well, we really didn't know who he was back then, you know, when he first started. Just that alone. Forget who else they might have seen, but just that alone.
I think James Brown, if I'm not mistaken, bit of trivia, maybe. I think James Brown played the Apollo more than any other artist, I believe.
That I think is true.
Yeah. Yes, 900 cinemas in more than 25 countries.
That's crazy.
That's what I call a release. Now, if you're gonna release.
You know, let it out.
And speaking of which, I just want to give a special shout out to the entire Houston family for having to lay down their matriarch.
Yes.
Dr. Emily Sissy Houston was laid down to rest on Thursday of this week, and a service that was befitting of the Duchess, and in Newark, New Jersey. Shout out to Pat, Gary, Michael, and all the Houston clan that was there and present, and laid her down the way that she was supposed to be, and amazing contribution to the city of Newark and to the world. Like let's just be clear, Sissy Houston was internationally known for her work, and some of the pieces, like I completely forgot this, and you'll appreciate this, JaVonne.
Mm-hmm.
Aretha Franklin, Ain't No Way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That legendary high note.
I can't do it, but y'all know what it is.
Sissy Houston all over it, right? And just so much she contributed, from Elvis to you name it. There's probably not an artist that she has not played under. And Darlene Love, shout out to Darlene Love, that was in the building, that showed love and looking like she's 40 years old and all of like somewhere 83, something like that. I mean, just amazing, Donnie McClurkin and Hezekiah Walker, and just everybody had something positive and a great story, because when certain spirits make their mark, you realize that you have been touched by them, so I just want to say shout out and wrapping the Houston family in love and light.
Yeah, absolutely. And the answer to your question was that the Godfather of Soul performed Apollo more than 200 times and recorded his career-defining album live at the Apollo there in 1962.
Yeah.
I don't
care about your past.
Yeah, I just felt, I don't even know if I should say this, but it's just, where's that opinions thing? Let me just throw that up there. Where you got that? Yeah, here we go. Views expressed here on Live in the Basement site are seen most often in person, no opinion, and do not represent the opinions of everything here nor everyone here at WJBR Internet Radio. Look at you smiling, just waiting.
I'm waiting. Is it obvious? Like, okay, what's she gonna say now?
I just feel like when James Brown passed away, and we all know he was the hardest working man in showbiz, he passed away and they sent him out on tour. That coffin went from here to there to there. And yes, he appeared again at the Apollo. Like, they could have did videos, video tribute across the country at all of his favorite famous staples. Okay, they could have done that. Why they send the body? You ain't done yet, to this forum, to this stage, to that. Could the man rest? I mean, really?
Yeah, I've kind of had that experience in my own family. exhuming bodies and moving them different. So a lot of it is political sometimes, depending on, and then some of it is, you can't decide if he was born and raised here, but yet he lived most of his life here.
And he was really famous here. He made his mark there.
Yeah.
Video.
I would like to think that there's nothing in that box moving around, but
no, it was open. It was an open casket on tour. Do you know what tour is? Of course you know what tour is, because you're married to a person that tours. It's going from state to state, from stage to stage. That is a tour.
The legacy of death, and the rituals of death, I'm still learning quite a bit about. I think that it's important to know who or what you're dealing with, because I've been to a little bit of, like, it's so much so that it's made me curtail how I in some cases show up for folk, in that way, to help celebrate, because you really need to know how people would celebrate, or have an idea of how people celebrate. I've seen folks knock coffins off the what do you call the things that hold them up?
Yeah, I know.
I've seen people get snatched within 5 seconds from the hole itself in the grave sites. That's one of the reasons why, there's some images that you don't want to have stained in your head. The last time, I literally had to catch my friend's brother because he was on so much so he was running with such top speed that he knocked us both down. I was trying to grab him because he was jumping in the hole. He was going in the hole. I grabbed him and I'm on his feet. We're both face down in the dirt.
Man, that is the hardest thing. That is the hardest thing.
Yeah. It's like, it's hard. It's hard enough. And people respond. But they and then he was in the living room for a minute too. So I think
I'm an asshole too, so I'm just gonna be quiet on this thought and move on. Pop, you were saying something about if you were stuck, if you were in a situation. Here you go. If you're displaced by wildfire, a hurricane, or other extreme weather, here's how to cast your ballot. How do they do that?
Thank you, Pop.
And Elisa, you're not helping me behave myself. I just want you to know that it's not easy being me. Okay. Thank you, Pop. Honestly, I try to be responsible, even though I can kid around and joke and have fun. But I try to be responsible, but I also know that I can be quite an asshole. Some of the thoughts that are in my head don't need to come out of my mouth. I'm very clear about this. It will not end well. Or it may end well, but it's not what I want to present to the world. Let's put it like that,
Yeah, that's the off camera. We know the difference. Are we the last generation of, you were saying something earlier that made me think, are we the last generation of that? Of play cousins.
Oh,
is that a term used anymore? That's my play cousin?
I don't know. I don't know, because I don't have friends that young. So, but I don't know that we're the last. I don't know, because I never really referred to those cousins as play cousins, and I don't think so. You know why I don't think so?
What?
I saw something on Facebook where there was how do you know if you're black kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
So this lady was asking people questions, and so she was asking black people a question, and she was asking white people a question. And one of the questions were, children of your mother's best friends, what are they to you?
Cousins.
And yeah, black people will say my cousins, and white people was like friends, like it's just different. They were like my mother's friend's daughter or my friends. They're my friends too.
Right.
And all the black people, regardless of their age, were like, those are my cousins. So yes, I do have cousins like that, and it's generational. Like their kids are my cousins, and those are my little cousins.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and it don't matter how many generations they go. And some of them, like my cousins, have passed on, and their kids have kids. So they didn't live to see their grandkids, but those are my baby cousins.
Right.
Those babies are baby cousins. I don't know. They're all my cousins.
Like I grew up with some cousins that I didn't even know weren't even biologically related.
Exactly.
I grew up with some uncles that I didn't even know weren't biologically related because
Aunt Pat, that's what it was.
Uncle Bobby.
Let me tell you about Aunt Pat, my mother's best friend from childhood. And my mom was her bridesmaid, and it was just her kids are my cousins to this day, right? So Aunt Pat is suffering, well, not suffering, but she's experiencing dementia. And she doesn't even, like, her daughter met us there, my cousin Londa, right? So Londa said, so do you have any kids? And Aunt Pat said yes. And she said, who are your kids? And she named her grandkids. Those are her kids. And she said, so then, are those your daughters? She said, yeah, those are my daughters. Well, then who's Londa? Her daughter. She said, I know Londa, but she couldn't relate that Londa was her daughter. But when she saw me and my mother, she said, my family is here. She didn't remember our names. Didn't remember our names. She's like, my family. She said, oh my God, I'm so happy my family is here to see about me and to take care of me. And so they asked, does she remember who I am? She said, of course I remember her. She said, well, what's her name? She said, I don't know her name, but she looks like a little girl. So that is her way of saying, I remember when she was little. I can't connect the dots, but I remember her. But that's my family. When she looked at me, she saw family. I'm the daughter of her best friend for life. Yeah. And my mother was sitting right there with her, and she couldn't remember my mother's name, but she knew my mother was family. And that's
all you need.
That's all you need.
What's in the name?
Yeah. And then she said, I'm scared because I can't remember. It's very scary. I'm scared. And I was like, look, you remember the love, and that's all that's important.
Facts.
And she said, yeah, I do remember the love. I'll hold on to the love. I said, you do that. Oh my God.
Our indoctrination into this country via history, in most cases, forced us to adopt extended family.
Absolutely.
And then you doubled down on that if you were probably in the LGBT community, because a lot of us are chosen family. For one reason or another. So it does not necessarily make you family just because you are bloodlined.
Right.
And, it's funny because, and this is a very short story because I know that we want to get to how people that are displaced can cast their votes. But I had a situation one time in employment where someone referenced me as their sister. Right. And I agreed. Yeah, that's my brother, but the people that were forced or doing their, actually it wasn't even forced. It was, they were trying to make some kind of connection. So they were scouring there, as opposed to just asking me the direct question. They thought they were going to pile information up, So, and it was funny because I have to admit, you say you're an asshole. I love being an asshole to people who think that there's something that, particularly when ain't nobody doing nothing and you're really trying it, right? Because I could tell either I'm getting on your nerves, which is possible, or you just have a bad way about yourself. So if I sense that, I'm going to drag you. It's just what I do, and it's what I kind of take self-pleasure in. I'll say that, as bad as it may seem. But
self-pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, so this they were going out of their way, and they were like, aha, we got her. So I'm listening. So you call, you break up my work day. You call me upstairs. We're sitting down, we're talking, and you come up with that. And I look at you and I smile and I laugh. I'm like, this is what you interrupted my. Now I'm giving it back to you. I come here with X amount of hours to do X amount of things, and you call me upstairs because you want to say that this is what you think it is. I say, are you sure about that? With a smile, because lawyers are us. Are you sure about that? Oh, well, no. I said, well, what are you doing with your day? Because I don't have time for this. Then it became something else. I said, you know what? I'll tell you what. I'm going to go back downstairs so you don't further embarrass yourselves. I'm going back downstairs so I can finish what I'm doing. You guys, clearly you don't have enough to do, but I do. Good day. And I got up and I walked out, just on that break, because you don't understand the context. You don't understand the culture. You know, so many things you don't understand about the term brother and sister, and you ain't gonna waste my time with it. I'm not here to educate you. So that being said, let's hit that important stuff here with
but before we do, Elisa said that it broke her heart when she discovered she wasn't a part of the Jefferson Crusaders. And I remember that episode. And guess what, honey? You are a part of the Brunch in the Basement family.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
There's that. Now,
them Crusaders are rough.
If you have been listening, then you know that we were discussing elections where, look, if you're displaced, if you were in a wildfire, here we go, hurricane or extreme weather, here's how to cast your ballot. The emergency ballot period is typically reserved for someone who encounters a medical emergency within the last few days prior to the election. With an emergency ballot, some states offer ballot delivery. Some allow for use of a proxy, and some offer extended submission deadlines. Check our elections dates and deadlines guide to see if your state offers an emergency ballot period. So I would assume that you should go online and really Google it. It's so important. It's so important that you vote.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, and typically, I wouldn't care who you vote for. What you vote for is your business. But right now, I really do care. And that's the honest truth. Okay, so let your voice be heard. Please vote blue, because I don't want to live in a dictatorship under an old man who's clearly losing it. And guess what? The truth of the matter is, if you vote for Trump, you're really voting for J.D. Vance, because Trump maybe for a year will say, yeah, and kill those people and lock those people up and do this and do that. It's all going to be evil and nasty. And then you'll have J.D. Vance, self-loathing, misogynistic, because his mother was a drug addict, idiot. All right. So you don't want to do that. What I do want to do is end with Sissy and Whitney singing, if that's okay.
Ooh, that's more than okay.
So just give me a second. I think we have to go through a commercial and then we will end. And with that, I want to wish you all the best. And if you could vote early, let's do that. Vote early.
Yeah. Avoid the lines.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, how do I do this? Me 1 second. Dun, 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 dun. I know I can. Hold on. No, that's not it.
Yes, you are part of the house in the Brunch of the Basement.
That's right.
Boom.
Okay, I know how to do it now. Dun, 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 dun. All right, everybody have a great weekend. Here we go.
And I haven't cleaned in 3 months. That's because I have someone come and do it for me twice a month through HomeAglow.
And now, as we promised, Clive Davis and Arista Records' newest discovery, Whitney Houston, is coming back, this time with her very talented mom, who herself is no stranger to hit records. You've heard her on just about all of Aretha Franklin's greatest hits. Currently, her mom, Sissy, is appearing off-Broadway in the musical Taking My Turn. Right now, she's going to sing that medley with her daughter. So here's Whitney Houston and her mom, Sissy.
Baby, baby, sweet baby, there's something that I just got to say. Baby, baby, sweet baby, you left me crying in a real cold way. Speak your name, and I feel blue. Yes, I said I will. Well, you said I do. Oh, baby, take me back and give me just a little time. Wait on me, baby. I want you to be all mine. I just been so cool. Ain't no way for me to love you if you won't let me. There just ain't no way for me to give you all you need if you won't let me give all of me. I know that a woman's duty is to help and love her man, and that's the way it was planned. Oh, how can I? Oh, how can I? Oh, how can I give you everything you need if you're tying both of my hands? You send me, you send me, you send me, honest you do. First I thought it was infatuation. Oh, but it lasted so long, so long. Now I find myself wanting. I want you to marry me and take me home. Yeah, 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 yeah. You send me. You send me. You send me. Honest you do. Send me, baby, send me. You move me, ooh, you send me. I just dare you to send me. You love it, still the millimeter longer. I just can't stand it. Kill me, ooh, send me, baby.
Love Men.
Women.
Community.
People.
Music.
Me. I know it's gonna sound retarded at the end. Go ahead.
Church.
Ugh. Yuck. Ew. Go ahead.
Sex.
Memories.
JaVonne, you up?
All right. Lyrics.
Oh, work.
Musical.
Genius.
Billie Holiday.
My mama.
Money.
Tragedy.
Shaka Khan.
Girlfriend.
Personality.
Ugh. People don't have it.
But we try. Thank you so much.
Hello, this is Mickey Howard, and you're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Hi, this is Mason. You're in the basement with JaVonne and Terez.
Perfect.
Leon, that's right, Leon, for some of your favorite movies, and I'm at brunch in the basement with Terez and JaVonne. Stay here with me. Stay here with me. Stay here with me.
Still in the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Terez on the microphone. Music, politics, or just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with JaVonne and Terez. Yeah. Let's see who we got today.
Come on, everybody's a friend in my head. I already know everybody. Whatever it is. One day I'll tell you about me and Shaka Khan, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But she doesn't know anything about it. But anyway. No, she doesn't. She wasn't even there actually. But anyway.
All our bosses though, Jay. Like she got our ears and
I'm gonna send y'all some perfume. I'll definitely get an address. I'll send y'all out.
You can send me some cologne, because I mean, you know, yeah. Just in case I should meet Shaka Khan, I want to smell really, you know, nice.
Oh God.
Okie dokie, babe. Whatever you say.
The time, so
and we thank you for that.
Thank you. Yes, well, thank you. This part, that little piece, I'm just gonna keep and play it all the time for myself. But no, I'm just teasing.